Hi, I'm Victoria Palmer, and we will be discussing the moral issue of animal ethics today. Today, I will be giving a thought provoking speech on the morality of factory farming. I will be speaking of Timothy Show's argument of morality of factory farming. I will first begin to explain the argument of Tim Show's. Although animals do experience pain, the morality of factory farming is not yet to be determined. Wrong. Due to the fact that animals are considered not to be moral agents. According to the United States factory farming estimates, it's said that 99% of the U.S. farmed animals are raised in factory farms. The species do consist of 70% cows, 98% pigs, and 99% turkeys and chickens. So, I want you guys to imagine something for me. I want you to imagine driving on the back roads of a country road, and traffic appears to be at a standstill. You see multiple animals as pigs, cows, turkeys, in very tight, close quarters in cages that are filthy and crammed due to the quantity of animals per cage. You see a few chickens with broken legs due to the unproportional sizes of their body compared to their legs. You also see cows being branded, and you see pigs in very narrow cages, unable to turn around or even lie down. After seeing that, Alstar Norcross and a crowd of people come into view holding huge signs that state factory farming is torture. I don't know about you guys, but after seeing that, I feel extremely sad. So you look to your left and look at that scenery, and unfortunately you see the same exact thing being displayed with the animals. However, Timothy Show and a crowd of people come into view holding even bigger signs that state factory farming is not torture. The argument I am presenting today is Tim Show's argument of the cruelty objection. When you are looking at the cruelty objection against factory farming, it does in fact state that this practice is considered to be morally wrong, due to the fact of the following reasons. 1. The participation in any practice of factory farming. 2. Eating any types of meat that come from the process of factory farming. And 3. The purchase or selling of any types of meat that come from the process of factory farming. It is, in fact, considered to be completely wrong to cause pain to any animal unless you do have a good moral reason to. However, there is no good moral reason to inflict pain to any animal, no matter those circumstances, or any circumstances. When you are considering whether or not there is a good reason to inflict pain to an animal through the process of factory farming, it is due to the fact that it is necessary for our nutritional needs. However, there is plenty of evidence that simply indicate our nutritional needs can be met another way without any consumption of any forms or types of animal. As stated previously, animals are not indeed considered to be moral agents. However, it is falsely believed that animals are considered to be moral agents due to the fact that they can simply experience the feeling of pain. This right here now rules out the following things. 1. Being conscious. 2. Well-being. 3. Want, and last but not least, 4. Preference, satisfaction. Pain is considered to be morally important due to the fact that it does have a negative effect on animals, which adds up being very harmful to the being's health. So, the issue of this is that there appears to be both moral and non-moral harms. Example 1. If one were to cut a sunflower, the plant is now harmed, which is therefore considered to not be a non-moral harm. Example 2. The functionality of a laptop is destroyed due to the malware on it. This is also considered to be a non-moral harm. And 3. A vegetable in a garden needs water. This is good, but it is not considered to be morally good. And last but not least, example 4. Gas is good for a car, however, it is not morally good. So if we simply say that pain is morally important due to the fact that it is harm, and there's a thing known as non-moral harm, then this must simply indicate that there is another form of pain. In a different aspect, which makes it matter morally, it could be that pain matters morally to be a conscious subject. This now raises the question of why consciousness matters does while vegetative life does not when discussing. So maybe the feeling of pain does matter morally. Is it because it frustrates the preference satisfaction. However, it did in the fourth point brought to the table that this could raise the same kind of questions as before, which is why preference satisfaction matters to the preference holder. This does immediately indicate that this is a very problematic issue. There is no clear contrast in terms of importance. Animals do not have moral rights, as previously stated. A moral agent is someone who belongs to the moral community. Therefore, they have moral rights. Animals cannot comprehend, follow, and act on moral rules. Therefore, they are not moral agents. So, if a certain individual does lack the capacity of free moral judgment, then they do not have moral rights. All non-human animals do lack the capacity of a free moral judgment. Thus, non-human animals do not have moral rights. So if animals do not have moral rights, then that also means they do not have the right of a non-interference, which now indicates we do not have the duty of not using them as a mean towards our end. The right of the non-interference is considered to be a negative right, which demands that other moral agents cannot interfere with another moral agent's pursuit of good. Excuse me. Thus, factory farming is morally acceptable majority of the time. If we are using animals as pets and food, then we can use them as a mean towards our end, which means they do not have any moral rights. Thus, we can use the factory farming process, meaning high populated cages, branding, narrow cages, and injecting these animals with hormones. So, for some people, factory farming is sometimes wrong. Cho takes on this argument from a belief that human beings are the highest entity in the universe, which in that is morally right and wrong, is determined by the terms of a good rational agent. If another human wants to harm another human, it is considered to be bad. People who end up developing bad characteristic traits should not be able to participate in the industrial animal agriculture. Therefore, humans should not be able to torture animals without it being a mean towards our ends, due to the fact that it could lead to the incline of wanting to harm another human. Tim Cho is simply arguing that when you are discussing the morality of factory farming, it is considered not to be morally wrong, yet is morally permissible. This is due to the simple fact that animals do, however, experience the feeling of pain, but the pain that they do experience is not the moral kind. This is determined by what morality consists of. Morality does consist of a community which is only populated with moral agents that can completely follow those moral rules and also comprehend those moral rules. Only members in the moral community have moral rights. So with that being said, animals do not fall under that category of being those members of the moral community, which then indicates that they do not have a right of non-interference. However, if a person does acknowledge the capacity to feel pain, this is considered to be a morally important feature that makes someone a part of the moral community. This is due to the harm. There is no such thing as moral harm which can contain vegetative life, which then at that point is just frankly absurd. So now, it is up to you, the audience, to decide whether or not you believe that factory farming is considered to be torture or is considered not to be torture.